We just got in Dual's new DCPA701 7-inch digital media receiver, which is one of the cheapest Apple CarPlay and Android Auto head units on the market today. This double-din features a 7-inch display, capacitive touchscreen, Bluetooth, Apple CarPlay, and Android Auto, and comes in at the $200 range. This thing is a freaking steal. Stay tuned at the end of this video for our power testing and my cons. But let's go over all the features. Inside the box is an external microphone for Bluetooth calling, RCA AV input harness, which includes 2-volt RCA preamp outputs for front, rear, and subwoofers, backup camera input, and RCA AV inputs. Wiring harness with steering wheel control input, hardware, trim panel, owner's manual, and a double-din 7-inch head unit. The unique chassis of this stereo was designed in a way to ensure open space for expandability and connections. The rear connections include wiring harness, RCA AV harness, external microphone for hands-free calling, radio antenna, and a USB pigtail. The display itself is 7 inches and features a capacitive touchscreen similar to your smartphone. However, it's not HD, which is kind of a bummer. It has a resolution of 1024 by 600, which is closer to 720p than the usual 800 by 480 that we get. The overall design of the operating system is solid. We get big fonts, big graphics, simplicity. I like it. The radio tuner features 30 presets, 18 FM and 12 AM. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are essential for a new head unit. They both require a USB connection on this stereo, so they cannot operate wirelessly. The connection will also charge your device at the same time. Video apps do not transfer, and again, these will not work wirelessly. Depending on the firmware of your device, Android Auto may not be built in yet, so you'll have to download and update the firmware from Dual's DCPA701 product page onto a USB thumb drive and update the firmware. This head unit is steering wheel control ready with its input on the harness, which is to be used with a universal interface like the ASWC1. Check the link in the bio for that. Bluetooth streaming is pretty straightforward. You can connect multiple devices to the head unit, stream your music wirelessly with music tags, as well as make and receive phone calls. With a USB thumb drive, the stereo plays back MP3 and FLAC audio files, JPEG images, as well as MPEG 1, MPEG 2, and MPEG 2.5 video files. It is possible to screen mirror a device to the DCPA701 with its RCA AV inputs. Use our mirroring adapter HDMIV-2. For iPhone, use a Lightning Digital AV adapter, and USB-C Android, use the Bueller BUC HDMI 6. Link in the bio for all adapters. I'll put a link for both options in the video bio below. This will effectively get anything you want onto your stereo, YouTube, Netflix, HBO, whatever. Be aware that this is a safety hazard. For audio settings, you get an 8-band customizable EQ with 8 presets. The only display settings are brightness and dimmer, and no wallpaper customization. The DCPA701 also has some solid power, but let's test it out for ourselves and see what we get. The first test we ran was 2 channels driven at 4 ohms, 14.4 volts, 1 kHz EQ flat. Our audio precision will generate our signal and measure distortion. At volume 39, our HP8903B audio analyzer picked up 19.1 watts RMS of continuous power, 1.01% distortion, and 8.65 volts of outputs. We can swap from left to right channels. We got 15 watts on the AMM1. Down to 40 Hz. At volume 40, our HP picked up 18.62 watts of continuous power, 1.02% distortion, and 8.54 volts of outputs. Channel swap. We got 16 watts on the AMM1, and we drew 2.24 amps of current. Next, we tested the RCA preamp outputs. At 1 kHz, volume 40, we got 2.28 volts of output, with 0.98% distortion. At 40 Hz, volume 40, we got 2.24 volts of output, with 1.03% distortion. Our final test was frequency response. We used our audio precision to run up each frequency. Now let's go over some cons with this head unit. The 2.2 volt RCA preamp outputs are okay, but I would prefer a little more juice. There is no 3.5mm auxiliary input, which is a turnoff for some audio heads. There are no other backgrounds or wallpaper options besides what is standard. Plus, the display is not HD. But aside from that, in the $200 range, the DCP701 may have to be considered for any low budget upgrade. Be sure to go to qualitymobilevideo.com to get all of your car audio and video gear with us today. Links for everything in the bio below. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and click that like button, join the conversation below, subscribe to our channel if you're new, and thanks for watching.